Industry Insider is only available at Promo Corner, the leader in digital marketing for the promotional products industry. Each Monday, they discuss, dissect, and debate a single issue impacting the world of promotional marketing from every industry perspective. Now, it's time for Promo Corner's Industry Insider.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast, where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin. I'm the National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA. I'm joined today by three incredibly awesome folks. First, why don't we say hi to Stephen McFadden? How are you doing?
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it is St. Patty's, and we are all wearing green. Thanks to Meg for the shirt sponsor.
Thank you, Meg.
Thanks to Stephen McFadden at Perfect Promotions and More for the embroidery job. Really nicely done, sir.
Yeah, very
nice. Meg Erber, how are you doing?
I think I've reached that age where I'm ready to pass the torch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what that torch is?
Not sure what that means, but
please tell us.
It's that torch to all us competitive old people. When we finally realize that we're not 23 anymore, we pass it. We're like, you know what? I've hit that mark in my life where I'm never actually drinking again. Here you go, 23-year-olds of the world. This is all you. It's your time to shine.
You know what? I think it's just COVID. COVID and not going out and keeping up the tolerance, Meg. I think once you get back out there, we'll look. AC, Atlantic City is not going to be the same without you. So,
well, we'll say.
It's not going to, it's not going to.
I mean, just for the record, it's Wednesday, okay? I went out on Saturday.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'm super excited for today's episode, guys. First of all, we're joined by a very special guest, but before we introduce him, this podcast today is brought to you by TechWeld USA, made in a world filled with worry regarding overseas products. They offer many USA-made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. Look, hand sanitizers due to the coronavirus outbreak, that's something that's obviously trending worldwide. The CDC recommends sanitizing and washing your hands to prevent the spread of the disease. They've got many sanitizer SKUs that can help combat the spread of the virus. We'll talk FDA compliance as well. They've got a lot of FDA compliant products. In time of uncertainty, knowledge that a product is FDA compliant is key in allowing the customer to feel at ease when placing an order. So go check them out at techweld.com. That's at techweld.com. That's TEKWELD.com. You won't be sorry that you did. RJ Messenger, you're a rock star, sir. Why don't you tell the folks that are tuning in who you are, how you got started in the promotional products industry, and what you've been up to since?
Perfect. First of all, thanks for having me, guys. This is my first of many podcasts I've done that have actually been on the screen printing industry. So I'm like, I'm actually being recognized in my industry for something, So
that's awesome.
I'm recognized on TV for a guy with face tattoos and a billionaire thing, but not screen printing. So this is a first for me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, my name's RJ Messenger. I live in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's a very small, we call it a small, big city here. Everyone knows everyone, unfortunately, but sometimes that is beneficial to business and networking. And so I own Iron Empire Clothing. It's a clothing brand. We have our own house brand or retail brand. And that's how it started. But now over the last 2 or 3 years, we've grown into having a custom screen printing company off of that. We kind of did it reverse. I think from what I've learned over the years is most people have their screen printing equipment and they're printing for other people. And then boom, they start a retail brand. Well, I flipped it. I did it the other way because I did it on accident. It was a hobby. It wasn't meant to be a business. I have a crazy, life and backstory before all this that I, don't have really time to get into, but it's out there if you want to find out. And I was working full time for the city of Erie, had a really good job, benefits, health insurance, pension, union. And I took $300 and said, I kind of want to start a hobby. Let's start a clothing brand and come up with a design or two. Started $300, print as many shirts as possible, outsourced it to a friend of mine. He printed my first run. I sold them to friends and family. I sold out in like a week and a half. So now I'm selling like $700. I don't need it because I have a good job. So $700, let's see how many shirts I can get. And just kept flipping and flipping and flipping. And that was in March of 2015. And by the end of that year, we already had our first brick and mortar opened up for our own retail brand locally because of the amount of local support that we were receiving. Fast forward a little bit into 2016, I was kind of, all right, do I keep this as a hobby or do I join this world of entrepreneurship, which I know absolutely nothing about, and I know nothing about business. I didn't go to college, nothing. And give it a try. So I retired early with the city. I threw out that American dream, supposedly, I think that's what they call it. Took a leap of faith and said, let's give this a try. And I know nothing about business, but let's see where it takes us. So it was only about a year later, about 2 years in, we invested in our own screen printing equipment, our own little 4x4. I had a friend that kind of helped me learn how to do it, do all the printing and the process and everything. And obviously everyone here knows that usually when you learn how to do it, you fuck up a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of that, but it was okay because we were printing our own stuff. We weren't printing for other people. I was like, let's cut out the middleman. Sorry, friend that was printing my stuff, but let's cut him out. Let's invest 10 grand in our own equipment and cut our costs in half. Not realizing that we have already created a brand for Iron Empire locally, and people were already saying, hey, can you print for my team? Or, hey, can you print for my event coming up? By the way, we want your logo on our shirts because we love Iron Empire.
That's awesome.
So here we are, 5 years later, we're now in a much larger location. We have our location that we're in now with our production facility, office area, and a small storefront. And we just opened up in our mall, a full-on retail store for our brand there. Cool. So we have a retail brand store, and then we have our production store, I guess, if you would want to call it that. And, we started a couple of years ago as a small 4x4. Now I've got a, 4x4, 6x6, and then just a couple months ago, we invested in our first auto. So
that's awesome. That's cool. Incredible. That is incredible.
That's a story.
That's a great
Thanks
story.
for coming.
Great podcast. See you later.
So for those of you that might be wondering, scratching your chin, trying to figure it out if RJ looks familiar to you or not, RJ is kind of a TV star. He was on a show called Undercover Billionaire, and they've filmed season 2 already, and actually that's coming out now. But RJ was on season 1, and so basically the premise of this show was a guy by the name of Glenn Stearns, who happens to be this billionaire, and I believe his background is in finance and banking. And so ultimately, he decided he wanted to throw down the gauntlet and basically say, I bet you, placed the ultimate bet, said, I bet you I can start with $100 in my pocket and turn it into $1 million business in 90 days. And this is the premise of the show. And I got to tell you, I watched the first episode and was absolutely hooked, because it's something everybody can relate to and really hold on to, and just to see that journey and the struggle that goes along with it. I mean, it just gives you so much, strength and encouragement to go out and do better, to be completely honest with you. And RJ, he actually reached out to you as a screen printer in the area to hire for temp work. You basically came in, worked 6 hours, and made $60. You offered him his first job, basically. So his whole journey started with that, and it developed a relationship between you and him. So why don't you give us a little bit of history on Undercover Billionaire and sort of that whole journey?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, the journey was absolutely incredible. Probably one of the most
incredible to watch. It really was. It was really inspiring to watch. Just you guys had it. I don't want to ruin it, but just doing stuff out of the goodness of your hearts and trying to help people, it means a lot in this industry, and it goes really far. So we all appreciate that. So thank you.
Definitely. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. But the reality of it is, some guy didn't just show up at my doorstep with a bunch of cameras and said, hey, are you hiring? Because if that would have happened, I would have said, turn the cameras off. Let's talk. What the hell's going on, right? So the production team, they were scouting around the country. Okay, where's that perfect city that's maybe not doing so well and maybe lost a lot of the production, jobs and all that, those jobs, but, has a good entrepreneurship mentality there. Local businesses are thriving, and they land on Erie. So I think what happened is they had reached out to the film office here and said, hey, we're coming to film a documentary. It's called The American Dream. And this guy, Glenn Bryant, he's a 55-year-old, 9-to-5 guy, nothing special about him, right? And he just got over throat cancer a couple of years ago. So he really wants to, hey, I want to start a business. I really want to start living my life since I got over this cancer and beat it. If we end up in Erie, would you be interested in being a part of the documentary by possibly helping him make some money while he's here, give him some good business advice? They're like, everything we hear about you, you and Glenn kind of resemble each other, a lot of the same, family history or background and stuff. He said, yeah, sure. Let's, I'm all for helping someone. If I get a little bit of exposure on a Netflix documentary, whatever the hell it might be, great. Never talked about getting paid for it. Just said, yeah, let me know when the time comes. Fast forward like a year and a half later.
Wow.
They're here in Erie.
Wow.
You know, they're ready to go. So yeah, so I said, you know, I can use some help. Very close to St. Patrick's Day, we're printing a bunch of shirts, and I had met Glenn, and we just clicked. It was like almost too good to be true, right? So I was, you know, his first relationship, friendship, job, whatever you want to call it, here in Erie. And yeah, he learned everything about screen printing, or at least what I knew. You know, I look back at the clips, and already, you know, 2 years later, I'm like, what is that how I was doing that back then? Why the hell was I wasting my time doing this way? Yep. Exactly. So yeah, I let him print some jobs for us, you know, some shirts here and there. And it was absolutely true. I said, listen, you mess up, it's coming out of your pay, because, you know, I'm relying on you. You need to make some quick money, but you can't also be costing me money.
How many shirts did he spoil?
There's a couple, I think.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
Granted. Did you have him burn the screens too, or no?
Yeah. I showed him. We did a little bit of screen washing.
Yeah, I saw the wash,
washing the screens out, reclaiming them, and he burned a couple of screens. But honestly, he didn't work for me for weeks. It was like a couple days here and there. He came in just to make a little bit of that cash on the side to help go into whatever he was doing. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, again, you know, we didn't know it was a TV show. We didn't know it was Discovery Channel. We didn't know that I'm mentoring this billionaire, right? And and so we had no idea. When I say we, I'm talking for myself. Even after the first couple of weeks, I didn't know that he was going to be starting a business and then ask me to be included in it. I figured there was about a week after, you know, the first couple of weeks where he kind of disappeared. I didn't hear from him. I'm like, okay, well, I did my part, like no big deal. And then boom, it's like, hey, come meet me and the crew. I got some really exciting news I want to talk to everyone about. And he's like, I want to start a brewery/restaurant. I want all of you guys to help me. We're like, what is going on? Now we're helping you build a business, not just, you know, giving you a job.
That's where I was like, so how did that happen? How did they all agree to that?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I think some of us felt like we were, not like we had to because there's cameras there, but we already agreed to help the guy. Now he's asking for more help. Like, do we just say, no, hey, sorry, thanks for coming to Erie, but get the hell out and go do your own thing and hopefully you succeed? No, like we all felt like we were a part of this now. Okay. So yes, like let's absolutely keep moving forward. We know we're not going to get paid for it, and see what happens.
Yeah, that was actually, go ahead, Stephen.
I would just say there's a piece of the story too, I think that's super fitting. It definitely shows the power of promo, not only the screen printing side, but in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, I'd hate to overlook it. But when you guys, you know, were out on the streets, then in the bars, you know, literally selling the shirts off your back, RJ. It's like that just goes to show you that, you know, the power of that. Do you any behind the scenes of that or anything that you want to share about that whole scene there, which was awesome?
Yeah. We're like,
so, so when I started my business, I mean, I never attended like a parade like that, but we always set up at events. So I went out, I networked, I met people face to face, and that's what helped over the years grow this huge support system in Erie by all the local people here. And we had a bunch of like St. Patrick's Day shirts, like we do every year. We print a green Iron Empire shirt with a different design or whatever. And we had a bunch sitting around, and it was actually his idea. He said, listen, I want to go down and sell some stuff. I need to make some money. Will you come help me? And B, why don't you bring some of your shirts down? And I'm like, man, like I'm envisioning in my head, you know, St. Patrick's Day parade, thousands of people down there, thousands of drunk people down there. I'm going to be sober. Do I really want to be walking around with this guy that I just met and then 15 cameras following us around? What is going to happen? Of course, why not? Let's do it, right?
Yeah, right. So, I like RJ. He has to be on our team. I just love him. He's like so us.
I definitely wanted to ask about the St. Patty's Day situation. I mean, that's why we decided to do the show on this day, because it just happened to fall on St. Patrick's Day. It was 2 years ago today, basically. And but you between you and Glenn, you guys had such a really interesting, I guess, relationship and how that sort of flipped. And I guess I wanted to get your perspective on that too, because ultimately, you know, he came in and you were sort of showing him the ropes with the screen printing business, had no
Right.
money at that time. You gave him basically his first $60. And then, you know, literally a week later, according to the timeline on the show, he's calling you up saying, "Hey, I've got this cool idea. I'm going to go sell a bunch of green shit at the St. Patty's Day parade."
Yep.
And you know, like how do you go from hiring this guy that you have no idea who he is or what he does or anything like that to like how did that hit you? Like, is this guy crazy or?
Yeah. So again, we didn't know the timeline. You know, as the viewer, you knew there was a 90-day timeline for him that he had to get stuff done. So I didn't understand what his rush was on everything. So again, like he started working for me, and then, you know, a couple days later or whatever, he's like, "Let's go down and sell these shirts." And I'm like, "Well, like, I don't know if we need permits and this and that." And like, he's pushing me to do this. And I'm like, shouldn't you be coming in work? Like, now I'm going to come help you. So that's why, like, we had a bunch of green shirts sitting around, and I told myself, you know what? He's going to go down there. If I say no, he's going to go down by himself, and he's going to just absolutely bomb, right? Just some random 55-year-old guy walking down the busiest street in Erie for St. Patrick's Day with a parade with a bunch of drunk people.
Like the dog ball scenario where he failed on that.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And I'm like, I morally can't let him go down there by himself and do this. And I knew that, not to be like arrogant, but like I knew by me being there, it would help him not only like meet people, but tell his story, and people are going to come talk to me so I can make the introduction to him, and then boom, hey, buy some glasses or beads or whatever. And it was rough for a little bit. We first started because we started late. The parade had already started. So if you can imagine a parade going down the middle of the street, you got people on both sides looking inward towards a parade. Well, we're behind everyone walking on the sidewalk. So we're trying to like, hey, everyone, look over here. Look at us. You know, look at all the cameras and everything. And but it was like once one person stopped to talk, then it was like, here comes someone else. Here comes someone else. And we ended up doing a really, really good job. I think we almost sold everything we had. There's a lot of stuff that didn't make the show. There was one bar downtown that offered to buy the rest of what we had because they sold out of stuff. So we actually ended up selling everything that we had, like everything that was left over in the thing. He was like, here's a couple $100. I'm going to help you do this, blah, blah, blah. And that went towards the goal of what we needed to make that day.
That's super cool. That is cool. Cool.
So then moving forward a little bit further along, he gives you the idea, obviously, that he wants to do the brewery. And then because of the timeline that we sort of talked about and the time constraints with the liquor license, that ended up pivoting into what's now Underdog Barbecue, right?
Right.
So how did you feel about then, you know, I guess that won him maybe some credibility, you know, going from being a hiree to doing this part-time thing to now like going out and selling some shirts and you know, different green gear. How did, like, I guess that built him some credibility with that. So when he brought you in to talk about this business opportunity, what were sort of your thoughts then?
I gained a lot of respect for him because like you said, at first I just thought this was a guy, didn't know which route he was going. And I realized, okay, like he's serious. Like he's ready to go make money any way possible. And if you watch the show, he was like selling the tires. Like we didn't know about that during the time. We had no idea he was out here doing. I didn't know he was selling cars. I didn't know he was trying to sell tires. We didn't know any of that. So his credibility to me was going up the more he pushed, because I'm like, okay, he's not just here to, you know, look good for the cameras for whatever reason. He legitimately wants to try and start a business. So even when, you know, he sat us down and said, here's my idea. I want you guys to be involved. I know nothing about the restaurant industry. I don't know anything about barbecue sauce or barbecue food.
Right? And you were like the director of barbecue, like day
Absolutely.
one. You were like,
Sauces, rubs, and apparels. Yeah.
Yeah, you do perfect for the barbecue. What exactly do you mean?
Exactly.
I'm like, what did that entail?
Yeah. And again, I had no idea until after the 90 days what my involvement was going to be. All I knew is that my network in the city and the people that I knew and my large network on social media, the following I have, hey, I need people that can do barbecue. I'm going to post on Facebook. And next thing you know, I've got 30 people that we can interview, or maybe only 3 of them work out or whatever it is. Or, hey, we need help with this. And just using my network to try and help this guy. Yeah, again, none of us really knew what our roles were going to be. even as we were filming and going forward. We had no idea what to
Crazy.
expect, what he was asking of us. The house idea came in. We're like, okay, you're flipping a house. How the hell am I supposed to help you? Oh, okay. You just want me to help demo the entire house. I guess I can do that and donate and volunteer more of my time. But
How fun was that?
that was fun. I will say, it wasn't as fun as like, there was a lot of work done there that obviously wasn't on camera. So it was like,
Oh yeah.
the parts on camera that you saw me, there's probably like 10 times more that I was there doing stuff, not for the cameras. And that's why I was saying earlier, like a lot of people said, oh, would you do all that without the cameras? Like we did a lot of work without cameras being around us because we believed in whatever this idea that he had. And the further along we got, the less we began to care about any kind of payout, about what the end result would be, who this guy was, why there was cameras there. We all got kind of onto tunnel vision. This is the goal. Let's just make it happen with him.
And he's good. I mean, he's good at pitching that and working,
He's a
motivating
sales guy.
people. Yeah. You could tell. And I wonder if that clued anyone in, like, who is this guy? Like, because he's very intelligent, and the way he can motivate people. But I guess you're so close sometimes you just start helping and get involved. So
right.
So what was one? Oh, real quick, sorry. So what was one thing that you learned from being on the show and like working under Glenn that really helped you get through the pandemic? Because you opened up a retail business. First off, you grew out of your retail spot. You completely killed it. And then you opened up another place in a mall in a pandemic. You must have learned some shit. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, like, what was the biggest takeaway that helped you get through this pandemic?
So a little behind the scenes, and it's public knowledge. It's out there on social media, but I think some people still don't realize it. When cameras were done, we finished filming in 90 days. Excuse me. Even after cameras left, we didn't know. They weren't like, oh, by the way, this is for Discovery. So keep in mind, I want to say it aired in we finished filming early June and it aired 3 months later. That quick, that turnaround. Wow. We didn't know it was even for Discovery until a month before it aired. So there's 2 months or 1 or 2 months in there where cameras left. We didn't hear from production and they're already working on this TV show that we know nothing about. And we had a big conference call with everyone from the show and they're like, hey, big announcement. This is actually for Discovery Channel and it airs in a month. So prepare yourselves. And then I was actually invited. I was one of 2 of the people on the cast to go out to LA for the big media release of the show to sit down on a panel and do it. So that was really cool. But what people don't know and didn't see is after we were done filming, Glenn stayed in Erie for 2 weeks. He stayed. He sat down with everyone at the restaurant, figured out, okay, we're really going to do this. There's no cameras. Now it's time to get to work. Within that 2 weeks, he made a deal with me, invested into my company. So Glenn partnered with me on Iron Empire, invested into my company. And at the time, why are you I see you over there.
I know.
What are you doing?
Suck him back in, Meg.
So he did that just because of what I did for him, right? And I had to give him a sales pitch. The store that we're in now, I was working on trying to get the storefront for over a year. I couldn't do it. Too much, too expensive. There's too much that needed to be done. It needed built out, this, that. It was a huge expansion for us to do. And I didn't think I was going to be able to do it on my own. So I put it on the back burner. And during the 90 days of helping him, I let go a lot of my business that I had going at the time. If you think about our industry across the board, January, February, and March is slow. Everyone in retail and screen printing, no matter how big your business is, you always assume that you're going to slow down the first couple months, right? So right when we're about to start getting busy again, March, April, guess what I'm doing? I'm busting my ass over here for Glenn, where I should be focused on my business to try and get through the last 3 months, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm at a point where I'm like, Glenn, I don't know if I'm at a good point with Iron Empire where I can keep going with it. Would you be interested? Here's the storefront. So he helped do all that. He invested in the company and we went from the old store we were in that you saw in the show. We closed that down in July and had a grand opening November 21st. A couple months later, we had a whole new storefront and production room built out for Iron Empire where we had a grand reopening, everything. Glenn came in for it and really, really helped take the business to the next level. And before he got involved, there was me as the owner, as a graphic designer, which I don't do graphic design. So I had like people help me on the side, me as the person making the screens. Everyone knows how that is when they start out. And I had one retail store associate and one screen printer. He goes, I'm not going to do this with you unless you build a team around you like he did for himself. So that's exactly what I did. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. I can't do everything, even though I know I'm the best at everything I do. Nobody can do it better than me. And I did. I surrounded myself with the best team of people possible to help grow this business that, is now thriving. So I want to throw that out there. So that definitely helped us get to where we are today. But what we did is through the pandemic, I'm sure if some of you in the screen printing industry is familiar with Printavo. So we've recently been using them for the last 2 years or so for invoicing and stuff. And they put this platform out, that merch platform. So we can create online fundraisers, through invoices and quotes and this and that. And I happen to see another screen printing company talking about how is at the beginning of the pandemic and the shutdown, how they were going to utilize that to raise money for local businesses and stuff. I said, you know what? I haven't heard anyone near you talk about it yet. We put together our own thing. We called it the Local Supporting Local campaign. So we personally reached out to hundreds of local businesses, nonprofits, sports teams, schools, whoever, who normally would be a customer of ours that can't be anymore because they don't have money. They can't have their event where they need 300 shirts for it anymore. So we reached out and said, we want to create these online fundraising platforms for you. And it's nothing new. It's been going on for years, but we just hit a niche in the area where it just wasn't being done yet. And over the entire shutdown, over a couple months, we end up I think we launched over 100 of these stores, and we're able to donate back almost $30,000 to the community here through money that we raised for local businesses, nonprofits. And if you know anything about Iron Empire, you can go all the way back to day one of when we started. We've always been involved in the community, always giving back, volunteering, building handicap ramps for people with wheelchairs. Anything that we can do, we've always done. So this was a way for me to give back to the community, but also the community help us get through the shutdown. So instead of us closing down, we stayed open. I had to stay open. I was paying my employees, whatever way I can, and keep them busy. And we just, when everything opened back up, we were already busy. We were booming. We weren't starting from a lot of screen printing shops in the area. They just, nope, doors locked. Can't do any orders. Sorry. We said, fuck that. Come to us. We'll do it because I don't give a shit. Let's do it. If we get shut down, I'm going to move everything into my garage and we'll print out of my garage if we have to. And because of that, here we are January, February, and March of this year, and we've quadrupled last year's sales in each month so far.
That's amazing, RJ. That is absolutely amazing. I am so proud of you. Like I met you today, but I am so proud of you because that's no easy feat. It isn't. Like doing what we do, you had to become essential. Like we were all freaking out. Like, what do we do? What do we do? Right. And our idea at SNS, or my idea, was like, I have to sell masks because none of my customers are selling anything. I need to get them back to work. Like I have to get them back to work. So we brought in those first set of masks, and then now we have like 71 different masks. Not that anyone needs them anymore, but at that time, it was like, what is the right thing to do? So, I mean, that's just really amazing to hear. And I think you did a really amazing job. And I'm glad that they let you do this with your branding throughout the show. Like everywhere I looked, I saw a Next Level t-shirt or a Belly Canva t-shirt. And that's something very nice with your branding on the back, on the front. And I like, that's good. That's good marketing. That's really good marketing.
Oh yeah. I made sure that I told them, I said, I'm going to wear Iron Empire in every single thing we do, or obviously Underdog. When I found out that was the business, but you're not going to tell me, like, you can tell me to take off Nike clothes, whatever you want, but you're not going to tell me to take this off, or else I'm not going to be in it.
Good. And
RJ, are you doing, I know now that you're in charge of the sausage rubs and apparels, is a lot of the business coming in through the Underdog printing as well as your own brand?
Yeah, some of it is. Yeah. So kind of behind the scenes look at how the business works is you have the restaurant here in Erie. It's its own entity. It's its own little franchise restaurant. And obviously the goal is to franchise the restaurant here, hopefully sooner than later. And then there's an entity that is the sausage rubs and apparel. That's the one that I'm part of. And I work one-on-one with Glenn. So obviously we're handling the sauces. So my job is to work with the manufacturers, whoever's doing our sauces, ordering it in. My team at Iron Empire, we handle all the online fulfillment. So if you go on
cool.
underdogbarbecue.com and order online, it's actually us. We're doing it. And we're
so
getting
cool.
a management fee from Underdog for handling the online fulfillment because we know how to do it.
Yeah.
When the restaurant needs sauces, they reach out to me. So that's where so the restaurant buys their sauces from my company then. And then obviously anything online, we handle the sauce fulfillment for that. So then the apparel side of things, I've got it into where when the restaurant needs shirts, they order through Iron Empire. And we're like the official distributor for the apparel for Underdog. So let's say in the next year, 10 franchises open. Every franchise is going to be responsible and have to order their apparel through Iron Empire. And that's how Glenn sees the companies growing and really being able to take advantage of what we've done.
Sure.
Awesome.
I mean, I don't know if you've considered it or not, but I know that there's different like hot sauce companies and things like that in the promotional products industry as a supplier. Maybe you guys, join the industry as a sauce supplier.
Well, that was one of the things. That was one of the things I noticed. You guys had very quick branding on all of your sauces and everything. Like this industry. Like you could literally be private labeling sauces for.
Yeah, I even saw the banner that went up.
I know.
It's like your promo people, so we see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was Rib Fest happened very quick, and that was my job was the layout and the look of the Rib Fest tent.
Yeah.
And I've attended the other Rib Fest events here before, so I knew that we would be able to have nothing like them. But I said, okay, in a time frame and a budget, how can I get everything done to brand or like make this look like it's professional? So we're able to throw all that together fairly quick. And again, you got to keep in mind, we finished filming again like early June, and it aired I think in August of that same year. But we didn't know up until about a month that was going to be for Discovery. So now it's like, oh, hey, by the way, you have to have a professional website done and ready because you are going to get thousands of orders, right? We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. No fucking idea. So I want to say that we did around the second month of the show, like the 4 episodes that were within that month of when Underdog came out, the finale. I mean, in online e-commerce sales, just through Underdog, I think we did like 110 grand in a month for sauces and apparel. And like, for us, that I didn't know what the hell to do. We were literally working out of a warehouse because if you remember, I closed my store in July and I didn't open up until November. Yeah. So that time frame of when the show was going on, I didn't have a store. So we were renting warehouse space to do all these online orders out of. We just had to rent warehouse space for 2 months to be able to fulfill everything.
Wow.
Because you didn't make excuses. That's why. That's something that resonated. He said, don't make excuses. And you didn't. You just fucking did it. And can we say that we finally have someone on the show that cusses more than me? I think I found my spirit animal, you guys.
It's funny. We're working with a group of students right now. Anywhere from 8th grade into high school. They're called Urban University. They're with the city mission here, and it's inner city kids that are looking to do a little bit better with their lives. And we're the first business to do this program, so they're actually learning the screen printing process right now. It's over
cool.
10 weeks. It's 6 students, so they bring them in twice a week, and we're helping them create a clothing business. And so it's like literally yesterday I'm with them, and I'm like, obviously I can't talk the way I do. I go from one day, working with kids to doing podcasts like this and like getting out all the F-bombs I can, because tomorrow when I'm back with them, I can't be doing it.
Purge it.
That's you're in good company. That's for sure.
Totally fine. Yeah.
So are you doing contract decorating then for other folks in our industry? Like, are you looking to put out any type of plugs or anything? So we'd be more than happy to help out any way we can.
So as far as like,
wholesale.
Like if a distributor in our industry wants to get shirts printed or something like that, are you taking those kind of orders or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's funny because right now, 90% of what Iron Empire does as a whole is custom screen printing for other people.
Okay.
Like right now, that's the only reason I'm at my house right now doing this. Normally I'd be at my store. It's just fucking insane right there. I mean, we're too busy for our own good. People are running around like chickens with their head cut off. There's boxes, shirts everywhere. Obviously, what a print shop probably looks like, but there's just too much going on there that I wouldn't be able to focus and do this. So 90% of what we do is custom printing for other people. We're still new, so I haven't gotten into like contract printing yet, like getting the contracts and bidding and stuff. I don't know really much about that. And we haven't even started diving into, what's the word? Like the pens and glasses and cups. Like obviously we can outsource that and take that business in if we wanted to. We're just not big enough to be able to even handle that right now. Everything we're doing is just strictly screen printing. Anything that we can do that on.
Well, RJ, I've been in this industry for 17 years. I've been on all sides of it. If you ever need any help or if you have any questions or anything, please reach out. I've been on the distributor side. I've been on the screen printing side of it. I've been on the apparel side. And something that you just said, I know we're getting late on time, but I wanted to mention it. I love that you're working with all these kids. Promo Kitchen is a group in our industry that is putting out this scholarship right now. And it's for people that want to maybe do more creative stuff. If they want to go to this art school or take a course or anything. And I would love to send you that information and have maybe one or a couple of your kids apply for that, because they're
absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing opportunity. And it's based off one of our friends that we lost in December to cancer.
Oh, okay.
She was like the creative bone to this industry. So
that's awesome.
you afterward.
Yeah. Doing that. One of the students, have you guys ever seen Blindside, the movie?
Yeah.
The football?
Yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of him.
Okay.
Big kid.
Michael Orr.
Yep. Big, huge, too big for his age. He's only 16 years old. So soft spoken, talks real soft, but looks like he can just the first time I met him, I'm like, you're not going to hurt me, are you? And just always smiling and laughing. And it was 2 classes ago. He said, Mr. RJ, can you come over here? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, no, over here. He was too shy to talk in front of everyone else about it. He's like, would you ever consider hiring a 16-year-old? I'm like, all right. His name's Jalen. I go, all right, Jalen. I'm like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm like, we're going to get through this class. If you do well, if you attend every time, and if you're here every day and you do well, and your teachers, the people who run this class, this program, all give you thumbs up and unanimously agree, I'm like, I'll give you a job at Iron Empire at the end. And he's a success story in his own. So he sounds like he just lost his mother about a year ago. And so he's going through it, but he's the senior kid in the class. So he's been in this program for 6 years now. So he has the most seniority out of all 6 kids. So it's almost perfect to be able to take him, let him go through his class, and then give him a job, even if it's a small part-time job, folding shirts, boxing shirts, whatever it is, giving him something to do to show all these other kids like, hey, this could be you. Like, keep up with it over the next couple of years, because you can end up getting a job through these programs. So we're really excited to kind of see where that takes us with the kids.
Awesome. Well,
but yeah, definitely send me that info though.
I will. I definitely will. I'll get that over to you. Would you guys have any other questions for RJ? We'll wrap this up, going on 40 minutes.
I mean, tons, but
I know.
Do you guys have a rapid fire?
Yeah, I got one. I didn't tell RJ we were doing it, but
what?
So we like to end our show with a rapid fire question. We always like to put people on the spot, and it's like, it could be anything. Like literally you could be Googling something and just ask us. And we just, first thing that comes to your mind, and like, that's it. And it could be funny. It could be nothing related to what we talked about, or it could have everything related to what we're talking about. So do you want to go first, Steven?
I can.
Okay.
All right. Choose your meat.
Ah, damn it.
Is that yours, really?
Yes.
Ribs, brisket, pulled pork, or chicken? Because those are the 4 that I kept seeing you guys selling at the fair.
I felt like your brisket was your best seller, which is crazy, right?
I think so. The ribs won the contest.
Yeah,
But I'm not a fan of ribs. I mean, I'll eat them, but they're not my favorite.
Right.
Our pulled pork. I'll say pulled pork.
Pulled pork, me too.
I would say brisket or pulled pork. What about you, Steven? You gonna go ribs?
I was either ribs or brisket, but the brisket sandwich sounded really good. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
All right, RJ, I'll go next. What's your favorite kind of sauce for your meat?
Peach bourbon. I like sweet. I can't do spicy. Our peach bourbon is our best seller, hands down, and it's probably one of our best tasting.
Peach bourbon. All right.
Sounds delicious.
All
Steven,
right.
what's your kind of sauce?
Usually I'm a Kansas City barbecue. Sweet.
I like a Carolina barbecue. I like something vinegary.
Really?
Yeah. How about you, Meg?
I don't know. You got to my refrigerator and you think my boyfriend is like a sauce connoisseur. Like there's like 90 different sauces. I made him throw them out before I would let him buy any more, to be honest. So I like it.
I can get him for Christmas.
No.
You can get him some underdog sauce.
Yes, I definitely could. I will allow that in my refrigerator. We have a whole garage refrigerator just for his damn sauces. So, all right. What's your favorite branded t-shirt, RJ?
You took my question.
Sorry. I'm not allowed
to. When things are in stock and easy for me to buy, which is not much right now, I like the Bella Canvas.
Yeah.
Specifically their CVC tee.
Oh my gosh, I love that one. Yeah. That's really nice. I know during the whole show, I was like, that's the next level t-shirt. That's a Bella Canvas hoodie. And then right before the pre-show, I was like, that's independent trading, isn't it? That's the promo nerd in me. So, God. Yeah. Jeff, what would you say?
Bella Canvas is my favorite t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm between the 3001 CVC or maybe even the 3600, the next level.
Okay.
Both good ones.
Okay. Yeah. I have to say, definitely the tri-blend from the Bella Canvas is probably my favorite as well. So, all right. All right, RJ, what you got for us?
Well, you took my question, so I'm just going to kind of offset or go off that one. So, what about color? What's your favorite color of shirt to wear?
Ooh.
And what style? Like, for instance, the gray, like the next level tri-blend, that gray looks and feels different, obviously, than like the 3600 or whatever the hell it is. So what shade and color do you like?
Yeah, I'm gray or black all the time. I feel like but I like greens. We did the greens today. So, but yeah, I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah, the color shirt that I like to wear is definitely different than my favorite color. That's for sure. So I guess color shirt that I would typically prefer is probably like a charcoal gray, something like a darker gray,
Yeah. Steven had his PMS chart out.
I was going through my my Pantone swatch book here. A heathered gray, so not a solid gray, darker than sport, but not as dark as the dark heather grays. So there's like an in-between one, and that some of the pieces are offered in the tri-blend. That's probably my go-to.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you, RJ?
Military green.
Yeah.
Olive that you can see right here. I got a lot of clothes right now that are military green, and probably too much. I think every day I'm wearing something that's that color.
That's a really good point, actually. I happen to like desert drab or military green, like olive type of colors.
Me too. One of the favorite T-shirts I made for one of my fighters a while ago was like, I think it was 2016, and his fight was like right around the last election, not this past one. And so I did like Strangler for president on the next level military green. It was like a really cool, badass design. So I still wear that, and this is like 4 years later. So I really like that one too.
Yeah. So again, just want to mention that we were brought to you today by TechWeld USA, made in a world filled with worry regarding overseas products. They offer many USA-made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. Look, this year, custom packaging has been huge, and TechWeld is certainly leading the pack there. They love to create new every day with their custom packaging division. It's a great example of that. So each box takes on a life of its own, and they work to meet your custom needs for specifications regarding packaging. And they've also really cornered the market, I think, in their kits. Kits and drop ships and things like that are huge right now with the world that we're still currently living in, even though there's light at the end of the tunnel. But they've got a great kit division. Their come kit around with us. They've got an EVA bag, a PVC tent pouch, PVC tube, organza bag, the pillow pouch, a BTL 202, which is a 30-ounce tumbler. They've also got a retro lunchbox, and you can do your kits and all of these different items. So not many players in the industry are focusing too heavily on kits, which really allows them to hone in on the market for those products and expand on their kit line that they've already got. So be sure to check them out at techweld.com. Look, if you're looking for an East Coast or Northeast screen printer, check out Iron Empire Clothing for sure. RJ kicks ass. If you're looking for some badass barbecue sauce, check Underdog Barbecue out. And I think that wraps it up for today's show, guys. Anything else?
Nope. The last thing we were talking about the other day, I wanted to show this picture. of RJ's face when they when he was like, my name's not Glenn Bryant, and he was like,
Yeah.
Sorry, say what now?
we're like, well, who are you?
Yeah.
I'm like, he's cool. I'm gonna show that. It was just the funniest thing. So that's all.
That was, yep. There was a lot of those pictures sent to me when the show aired. A lot of those. They're like, your face was priceless right there.
It is. It is. You are a really good sport. We're all proud of you. Glad that you were a
Thank
part
you.
of our industry. Like, proud to know you.
Yeah.
And thanks again for coming on the show. Really appreciate
Definitely.
it.
Great job,
definitely.
man.
Come out to Erie sometime. Any of you guys
Definitely
come out to
come.
Erie, let me know. We'll
We'll
get
go
some
to
barbecue.
Definitely.
We'll go
You know
live.
any spots?
Yes.
I'm
You guys got to do a little tour,
Yeah.
like start traveling while you're a podcast and do it from.
Good.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Well, Meg, you and I aren't actually that far from Erie, so I mean, we could probably make that happen. Steven, you'd have to, trek.
All right.
But, I think we can get you out of
Yeah, we
Carolina.
had to twist his arm.
Yeah,
Meg, you have to let Aliana know.
All right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
for sure. All right, so look, guys, if you're looking or interested in checking out the show as well, it's Undercover Billionaire on Discovery Plus, and I'm sure there's other places you can catch it as well. But that's where I saw it, and I think Meg and Steven, you both caught it there as well. But really awesome show, incredible journey, and RJ, like Meg said, incredible to have you on with us. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.